Hello, everyone. Just give me a sec. Awesome. So, yeah, let's kick it off. Everyone, welcome to another session at the Fabric Cafe. So let's just wait for people to join. Awesome. So I'm going to share my screen and let's check it out and see what we have for today. I guess this is going to be better. Cool. As you've been actually with us since maybe early November with the series of DP-600, and now we are busy with the DP-700, the third session of that. The total may be 4 sessions, but let's see how it goes today, and if it can be being wrapped up today, then tomorrow's session is going to be cancelled. But let's see. We may need to have an hour for tomorrow, but let's see how it does work. Here is the Microsoft Learn community, a study group or a learning room in Microsoft Learn, and where you can just find other learning rooms as well. For the Fabric Cafe, we have the weekly and bi-weekly, sometimes the Fabric coffee sessions with inviting speakers with almost 6,000 members around the globe. We focus on Fabric and Power BI and in all levels. So here are our social links to our YouTube channel, our LinkedIn page where we do our announcements, the community groups in Microsoft Learn, and also in Microsoft Fabric. So there you can just start discussion, find the peers, ask these experts to help you if you've got any question, or even you can share your experiences with others. We also have the meetup group where you do the RSVP for your for the sessions basically, and then you can just rate the session afterward, and sharing with others. There's a code of conduct when you join the live sessions. Thank you very much for adhering to them. And it is Mehrdad Abdollahi, the community lead at Fabric Café, and your instructor in this series, based in Canada and always a learner. So the previous session we covered mostly on the Lakehouse, how to work with Spark, and how we basically work on notebooks and managing them, connecting them to pipelines, parameterize it, and basically covering most of the things in data transformation, data ingestion using Spark. And we have loaded some data and transformed some in Lakehouse. And then we moved to the second section of that, which was the data warehousing in Fabric, that we just stopped. Actually, we stopped the session. I'm not making it that long. And today we are going to resume our discussion on data warehouse in Fabric and as general. And then we will just move on the real-time intelligence in Fabric. And if the time allows, we can go through the monitoring and optimization and analytics solution. If not, it will be actually done tomorrow. Let's see how it does work today. So, from just a refresher from previous week, we have the data warehouses in Fabric for sure. How the data is going to be landed in Fabric, which is in one lake for sure, and we have the basically the one lake is that single data storage for the whole our tenants and workspaces that we've got, and the file format is Parquet. So there's nothing new for you. So let's pass the slides that we talked about them. How to create a warehouse. We have created that, and about the tables that you can see in a warehouse, fact table, where you have the measurable, you have the measurable, fields and basically measurable data with a connection to your dimension tables that are basically describing your measurable data. Just think of a report, for example, a total sales amount per region, per customer, per year, whatever that we call as per is going to be your dimension. It can be your dimension. And some, tables actually for the integration purposes, when you are transforming your data, you are preparing your data. The dimension tables, we discussed that. We have, some special, type of them, which is the time dimension, which is not usually, as part of your transactional database, but you always see that in data warehouses, which is one of the, must-have items in your warehouse. And also, one of the type of the dimensions are slowly changing dimension, where one of your dimensions, like a customer location, is actually keep changing, right? Or or changed in after a while, and you want to just count your records and aggregate your fact table based on the valid value for that specific column. Then we create this slowly changing dimension. We will talk about that in more detail. And we also talked about the schema designs, data warehouse schema design in general, not only Fabric. The first one is star schema, where you have the fact table and only one layer of the tables that are connected to this fact table as dimensions. And when the dimension cannot be denormalized, let's say, for example, when you have dimension of your customer and a dimension of geography or for their location, and that dimension of geography can also be used in your dimension of stores, then it is going to make your schema as snowflake. So, however, always the best practice and the best performance is with star schema, and where you cannot achieve actually your goal, then you may have to go with the snowflake schema. In order to ingest data into a data warehouse in Fabric, you can use the Fabric pipeline. You can use the data flow gen tool. You can just inside the warehouse itself, you can just cross database, querying that like what we have done before in the previous session, and also copy into command where you have a file that you want to just directly load into your warehouse. With the warehouse in Fabric, since we are actually the data behind that, the files behind your tables are in Delta format Parquet files, you always can just travel back, travel in actually time in your data, and having a snapshot of your data without actual copying it, right? That, for example, you want to just have a more stable version of your data that in your warehouse that goes back to a week ago, for example, or at a specific date and time, then you can just clone that table for that specific time, and then without copying data, but it only looks at your files and your table, how it did look like in that date and time. So there are different benefits from that for the data recovery, historical reporting, and development and testing. So the clone table is one of those options for us. In order to query the data in warehouse, it is SQL, and you can just connect to your warehouse from your SSMS or other clients that you've got. It is like the querying in warehouse is like what you have in SSMS. It has IntelliSense. You have the opportunity for the code completion, syntax highlighting, if just for the keywords, or even if there is any error, it is going to be highlighted. And it is client-side parsing, not in the server side, and it also has the validations. And you can also have the visualized queries. We will talk about that. It is going to give you an opportunity like what you have in your Power Query, just by drag and drop, and linking your queries together, and then save that result somewhere. So it is going to be a good no-code experience for you if you would like to have something very quick and just visualize it. Then, however, you need to know SQL for the exam. In order to create the relationships between your basically between your items, between your objects in your Power in your data warehouse, there are different, actually two ways. One way is just making a relationship in the primary key and foreign key constraints, or you can create a model on top of that. You can create a model on top of that called semantic model. Then that semantic model is going to be something that you're gonna use for your Power BI and reporting, and just or providing that to your colleagues and team. There also you can just make the relationship between those tables. It depends where and how you want to create your relationships. It's just like a drag and drop in that semantic model. However, it is going to just prompt for what type of relationship you want, and how you want to basically this relationship behave. Previously, there was a semantic model created automatically when you were creating a lake house or a warehouse. But since November, end of October, this is gone. There is the default semantic model is not going to be created actually on creation of your data source like this, and then if you want something, you need to create a new one. However, from my experience, some of the questions in exam, is still actually referencing to the default semantic model. So if you see that, you can just answer the right question and just add a feedback for that question. I mean, the right question at that time. If it is talking about the default semantic model, then you can just write the correct answer. Sorry. Cool. What else? However, you can create your semantic model, and then that semantic model is going to be refreshed. However, DP-700 is not going to talk in detail for semantic models and how to query that, text query. It was more for the analytical section of the DP-600. And you can, of course, on top of that, semantic model, you can create your reports or even directly connect to your warehouse in the Power BI report. Data warehouse, is providing you with, some security options that you can go with the role-based access control, for the for the actually workspace roles if you're gonna have access to the warehouse itself. The data basically is when it is at rest or in transit, it is encrypted using SSL, and also TSL for transferring. And however, you can always bring your your key for the encryption. If you'd like to have your own key for the encryption. Then it has actually the integration with Microsoft Entra ID for doing the the security stuffs, like the role level base for a group of people or a user, something like this. And about the workspace and item permission, we have talked about that in the previous, actually in the first session. But we have the roles as admin, contributor, member, and viewer, and in the items, in the item level, we can more provide them like in SQL analytic endpoint, we provide them with read data or read all, or even we can have some item level access in the workspace to only have access to this data warehouse and not to the whole workspace. Cool. In order to actually load the data in a warehouse, firstly, we need to understand the ETL process, right? Extract, transform, and load. Extraction is going to just connect to the source system. It can be a transactional database or a staging database, whatever that it can be called, and for any purpose. Or it can be even a file or an endpoint somewhere. You can bring the data, select the necessary data that you need for your for your analytics, and for making a data warehouse or data lake. Then you will do the transformation. You're going to clean it, format it, duplicate, actually deduplicate it if there is any duplication there. Then we can just combine extracted data and make it ready. Then load it to your fact and dimension tables in your warehouse. And there might be some post-load optimizations that you can just add some additional steps like creating views or optimizing them, and just improve the performance by doing some additional steps. For each ETL process, it is good to have the staging of your data, a temporary storage, and for storage and transformation. When you are extracting the data and transform it, you can just have that staging section, right? It is going to just simplify your load operation, that nothing is going to be done on fly, or you can maybe firstly stage it somewhere as a raw data, then you can just go with your needs. Here some sort of design patterns or are called architecture of medallion architecture, which your data is coming in 3 layers. In the first layer is bronze, silver, and gold. In bronze, it is the raw data. There is no transformation on that, no filtering. Everything is as a raw data is there. Then you can just transform it, basically in your silver stage. And once you're happy with everything, by with the fact table and dimension table, all of those denormalizations that are going to be happen in your warehouse, then you can just load it to your gold layer. So in order to load the data into warehouse, we basically have 2 load types: full load and incremental load. When we talk about incremental load and full load, we should think of where and how we are going to use it, and where it does really make sense to do the full load or going for incremental load. Here is just a quick comparison somehow, or some items that are going to be applicable. For example, in full load, basically you are going to truncate your table and load the data from scratch. And it can be something for small data sets that you've got, and then you can just wipe it out and and then reload it. And small data. For a full load or initial load, if it is the data is a lot, it is going to take longer to load, and there is no history stored for them. And then it is good for the initial load or refresh the whole data. And on the other side, we have the incremental load that is going to append data to your tables. For example, for a fact table, for the sales department, you can just add your cells in your table, the new cells in comparison with the previous load. Then you only get those news or the modified records to your fact table, for example. Of course, it is faster because we are not going to do the full, the whole data, load the whole data. It can, for incremental load, for sure, we have the history of the data, just by a date or something like that, and it is really the best option for frequent updates. About the dimensions, it is always recommended, to have a new key for your dimension table, rather than the business key that you've got in your transactional database. It is some reasons behind that. First of all, some systems are storing, for example, unique identifier, a GUID for a customer table, right? That is not going to be that useful reusable to be used in as a data warehouse when we want to create indexes on that. So, or you may have, different data sources that each of them are storing their business keys in different formats. So when we are, just getting everything in one place, we are going to provide them with a surrogate key that, basically is going to be, per row for sure. And it is usually a simple, integer value. And of course, it must be unique in the dimension table. And on the other side, we have the alternate key or business key also. That is, a valid item. And actually, it's going to be a field to just identify your items in your basically your source system, or the transactional databases. It may be duplicated, but it maybe makes sense to have duplicated values, but it is going to be happen mostly in the duplication of your keys of your alternate keys maybe happen because of the slowly it is part of a slowly changing dimension process that we also talk about that later, which is here now. So about the loading dimension tables, we should identify and understand what kind of dimension we are loading and which type of the SCD or slowly changing dimension is going to be applied to that specific dimension. Type 0 is never changes, and the data is going to be overwritten, let's say, and there is no change history or something like that. Type 1, the type 0, it is going to never change, and these are some static values in your in your system, like the day of the the date table, or the countries, for example, list of the countries. It is not going to be changed, and it is going to be loaded one time, and it is going to stay there. The type 1, it is going to overwrite it, and then there will be no history. There can be some, some examples that the category of your, products can be overwritten, right? And it really doesn't matter what are the whole, categories of the products that you've got in your system. SCD type 2, which is, the mostly used, for keeping the history. Basically, it is going to just append to your list with adding some additional columns that with the minimum of that could be the valid from to valid to, some dates that that record was valid or is valid. For example, in the in the example that we've got here, the for one of the productions, at some time it was called bicycle, and now it is changed to super bicycle. So, and this naming is maybe very important for your actually business. Then of course, always we have only one active record, and the third column, which is active or is current, can be added also to your the SCD type 2 when you are adding the history to just identifying what is the current one when you want to add the surrogate key in your fact table and link it to your production dimension table. There are some examples to how to basically load a type 2 slowly changing dimension, where in this code we are just checking if that's the source key, for example, for a product does exist and it is active, the active is true, then what we are going to do, the step number 1 is just making that one as false, and step number 2 afterward will be inserting the new record. Anyway, if it does exist, it is going to mark it as false, as inactive, and maybe the app just updates the value 2 by using today's gate date, today's date and time, and then we are inserting a new one with active, and the valid from will be from now until very large the date and time. So yeah, it is very common. And about the other SCD types, they are not going to be asked in the in the exam, but type 0, 1, and 2 are going to be asked. In order to create a table with TSQL is very simple. Just create table, name of the table, list of the fields. If it is a nullable, and the type of that, then we identify it can be nullable or not. The default is not nullable actually. If you want that to be not nullable, then you can indicate it like this, product ID. And you can just, create that using your SSMS or using in, Microsoft Fabric, or even you can use the SQL project in your VS Code that we will just cover that quickly as well. The data types in Microsoft Fabric data warehouse are listed here. Some data types that we have for SQL in Azure SQL are not applicable here. So keep in mind when you are talking, actually when you are deciding about the data types, you think of the whole system that where your data is going to be utilized, and you should think if that data is going to be for example referenced and worked with on Spark, or it is going to be in your data warehouse only, or it can be used in your Power BI reports. So think of that and then make the right decision about the type of your data. However, for the exact numeric, we've got bit, small int, big int, and decimal numeric. For the approximate numeric, we've got float and real. For the date and time, date time and date time 2, and there are some considerations that you need to just take care of them as well. The precision for date time 2 and time is limited to 6 digits of precision on a fraction of seconds. So we've got fixed length character strings. For example, if you need to just we have var char and var binary, but you need to keep in mind in Fabric Warehouse we don't have any nvarchar, so it is one of the limitations here. And the limit for storage in varchar max is currently 16 megabytes in Fabric, and also for the same thing in var binary. What else? Yeah, it's good. there are some unsupported data types and some alternative, available. These are, coming from Microsoft documentation, Microsoft Learn documentation. You can, of course, look for them and find it where it does make sense for you. For example, the geography, geometry, JSON, XML, inchar, and varchar, date time offset, money or small money, they are not supported. But instead of that, for example, we can use decimal. There is actually an option in data warehouse where you can create the identity columns. It was not there. I think it is still in preview, but it is one of the items that are used a lot, even by everyone, or actually developers. The identity column basically it is allowing you for automatic surrogate key generation, right, which is very useful. And it is simplifying ingestion logic. You don't have to find the the last created record, then just plus it one, or creating a row number based on that. So with the identity column, you can just go for it. It is a SQL based one. It is performance friendly. You don't have to go for the extra logic, and it is ideal for primary keys or surrogate key, as I mentioned, in the star schema or dimensional modeling in the warehouse. The column must be the type of big int for identity, and the in order to create that, you can just you can just add it in your create statement, big int, identity, and then you can just say not null, for example. But one of the limitations here in Fabric is that you cannot seed it, and you cannot specify the increment values. These are the things actually you can do in SQL database, but not in data warehouse in Fabric. And actually, system manages the value generation internally. The values are always positive integers, and the uniqueness is guaranteed, even when it is your different sessions are basically executed in different nodes in Fabric. So you may have the identity column is going to be unique, and it is not necessarily incremental from the previous value, but it is guaranteed that it's unique. As I mentioned here, because the warehouse distributed architecture, generated values may not be strictly sequential. And some limitations that we talked about, the type of that, the big int. You can still use the other items, other data types, but afterward it is going to cause an error. You cannot, of course, you cannot manually inserting values, to that identity column. And you cannot specify specify custom seed or increment. Somehow we talked about that. One nice thing, you cannot add the identity column to an existing table, and if you need for an existing table to have the identity column, then you have to just select and insert into a new table, and then in actually that the new table that you have created should already have the identity column. And if you are using the create table as select CTAS or selecting to, the identity property is inherited if that table has the identity column. In order to load data to your fact tables, you can use the insert into that table by selecting your aggregated data if it is required, and whatever fields that you need, the surrogate keys from your dimensions, then it can be loaded to your table. So it's inserting to and not basically it is basically just assume that that the column names that you've got in your select statement are equal to what you have in your fact table. But always, I would suggest to specify your column names to have less confusion and have being more accurate when you are doing something like this for inserting the records. One of the more important things, again, if you are using, for example, here it is loading the customer key, right? When you want to find the surrogate key of your customer, then you need to keep in mind about the which record, if it is a type C, actually type 2 of your STD, STD type 2, then you need to just think of that filtering for what record is valid when you are loading the data here. If you're supposed to only choose the valid record, or your data falls in between two date and time from two valid values. In order to load the data into your warehouse, as we mentioned before, you can use the data flow gen tool or a new pipeline or an existing pipeline for sure. There, in the pipeline, you can have the copy data. You can just schedule it, parameterize it. We have done it before, and you can also delete the data, or basically truncate your table in your warehouse and make it ready where it makes sense for you. We can use the copy data activity in pipeline, where you can just choose your data source, then you can connect it, and you're gonna choose your destination and connect to that destination and some settings. There is an assistant here that is going to guide you for each step. However, you can ignore that wizard and go directly to the settings section in your activity. Or even you can use loading data using TSQL by the copy statement, where just you can say copy into a table name from a file somewhere. That file can be a CSV, it can be a Parquet file, or whatever that is covered. You need to just specify the file format here, and from external Azure storage. It does the error handling, for if there is any error. And what else? Let me just add something. and you can add multiple files where basically you are loading the data from copying to by just separating them with a delimiter of comma. And as I meant, actually we have done in the previous session, you can just load your data from other assets, like making a shortcut, or it is not actually the shortcut. It is just adding the SQL endpoint for SQL API endpoint to your data warehouse, and just querying that and accessing the data in another item like a data lakehouse, where you can just choose your data, transform it, and load it to your data warehouse. For example, in this example, you can, you need to actually require three-part naming. First of all, the lakehouse or warehouse that are sitting somewhere else in the same workspace. That is also important. It has to be in the same workspace. Then you can just select from that and data storage, then schema of that, then the table name. And if your lakehouse is not created in a way to have this schema, then you only need to use DBO as a default schema. What else? Yeah, loading the data with Dataflow Gen 2. We also worked on this in the previous session. The Dataflow Gen 2, it is not a new thing for you now. You can just connect to a data source, append, or replace your data in your destination, and just transform it. It is going to give you a powerful transformation tool, low code, no code, Power Query, basically, with actually where you have the apply the steps. You can just always move back, just configure any of these steps separately. You need to just think of when using the Dataflow Gen 2, think of how you can fold the transformation to your source. Basically, you can just to your just leave him a sec. Yeah, you can just fold more actually as much as you can to your source of the system, and just make actually the resources more available for your Dataflow Gen 2. And there's the Copilot is also available there in your Dataflow Gen 2. However, in our free trial, Copilot is not available. It can just you can with a prompt, the steps are going to be added there for you with a LLM. So let's have a look at our warehouse in the portal, and let's see what warehouse we've got here now, and what are the options available there. So in the chat, I can see a message from Ashkan. Hi Ashkan. Yeah, today I had DP-600, some other failed. Oh, no worries. So I'm sure for the next time you can obtain it. You can just share your experience. What was the difficulty that you had for that exam? What was the more actually important ones that you think it was missed in your study plan, or how you can improve it? It is going to give others the chance to learn from you. Yeah, thank you. Cool. Yeah, in our warehouse, as you can see, you have the list of schemas. Some schemas are are built in. Basically, we have the DBO, where you can have your tables, views, some schemas that are basically created by the Fabric itself, which are the query insights. There are some views that you can just find out the history of the requests that were requested in this warehouse. The sessions, these are nice views that you can just use them when you are doing the troubleshooting, or you want to monitor your data warehouse activities, and which user is, for example, eating the more of the resources, or finding that frequently run queries, and how many times, for example, a query has been executed in the past year or past month. Then you may think of creating a materialized views, or I don't know, just load that data somewhere in your database, in your warehouse, to just make it faster for being reported, actually. And also you can find the long running queries, where you can just maybe sort it by the execution time, and and just find it and see how it can be improved, or you can just send it to the user that that the session was initiated from, to just being refactored, or rectify those issues in the queries. So there are some views in the sys that is, for example, listing all columns, all objects. You need to just make yourself more familiar with them. For example, if you want to identify if there is a column available, let me just see if let me see why. Select from sys dot all. Oh, what happened? Dot all columns. So you need to just type in in your SQL, actually, sorry, and in the query. And there is a actually comment here. Long running query is a question I got in the DP-700 exam. Thank you, Isaac, for adding your experience. Make sure you know it. For this one, the long running, you need to understand what fields are available there, and in what situation you are going to use that. How you can, for example, connect the sessions here. For example, session 187. Then you can just find out 187 was initiated at this date and time. Who was the person did that, and how long that session was open, and what is the actual command, and how many it was executed, something like this. These are the views. All these views, the DM views are available there for the backups. You cannot select them from here. You need to just type that view name in your query set. Cool. It is just an overview of what we have in our data warehouse. The queries that we create are going to be stored here, And in the previous session, we have added this lake house, which is basically a reference to that warehouse and a where we can basically read the data or access the data in that one. For example, I have a table as my date, and when I just drag and drop it, as you can see now, it has three sections, three parts of the object name. The first one is for the lakehouse name, second part is the schema, and the third part is the object name itself. And one of the queries that we actually executed previous week was getting the data from the products in the staging, from the staging schema. We have just loaded the production data by doing some sort of basically transformation with converting a converting a data type, and then just loaded that to our dim product table in the DPO schema, like this. Anyway, so let me just check our slides. In order to query the data in your warehouse, the first, the ways that you can query your data are in the SQL query editor or the visual query editor, and also in the TSQL support in Microsoft Fabric notebooks, where you can interact with your warehouse. You have the available data preview when you click on your table or views, and also you can have the time travel in your data and see how it did look like that time, or even you can just clone the table. We talked about the cloning the table. This cloning the table is an option that you can clone it as now, and it is going to just stop here, and whatever that you change in your source table on your actually original table is not going to be shown in your clone table, and I'm talking only about the data, not the schema. The schema, whatever schema that you're gonna change, it is going to be also visible here. And you can just give it a name. You can go in the past. For example, you have a specific date and time that you want to check your data was looking like. Then there's also let me just copy this SQL statement, and we can also talk about this as well. Here is going to be our the creation one. It says create table, this name as clone of the table name of your basically source table at this specific date and time that we are thinking of. Cool. What else? So for the clone, let's create a clone for now. I just want to check how it is going to look like. It is the dimension of product. What items that we have available here. I want to only change the unit price of them by just to showing something. And you can see the dimension product of cloned one has the same view, but let's just quickly update update dbo dot dimension product. We can just set unit price equals to unit price multiplied by 10, for example, and then we can execute it. So now in our dimension products, they have been it should be multiplied by 10. I think it needs to be, let me just check. Yeah, now it is multiplied by 10. It was 10.99. Now it is 109.90. And if we look at our clone one, it is still showing the previous values. Let's just close it and only reload it to make sure that I'm not lying. Cool. We have the unit prices now here, the previous one. However, in the table that we've got, we can travel actually in time, right? And the syntax that you can, I think it was as time off, but let me just check the time travel in Fabric warehouse. For the time travel, the syntax is going to be for the timestamp like this. Let's copy it quickly and let's see what we have here. Here I've got dimension time product as DC. Let's only get the value of them, and it is the current value. But if we want to go, for example, to the previous day, it was 19th, then I can execute it and see how this data is going to look like. As you can see, the unit price now has been changed to a actually it is showing the previous values, not the current one. Cool. Yeah, now it is just a demonstration of how the time travel is going to work in Fabric. About the data warehouse and the options here, there are some sort of settings that you may use the SQL endpoints when you want to connect to your warehouse using your SSMS or any other tools. The Copilot is not available for us. Some SQL audit logs that can be turned on or off, and for the restore points. So Fabric itself is basically creating the restore points from your warehouse when you just change something, or even you can add a restore point. For example, if you want to do a massive update or a change in your schema of the tables or views, you can just create a restore point, and at the current time, then you can just go to your previous restore point, and then just going for restoring that, or you can just delete them from your thing. I don't have access to it. Let me just see. Manual restore point. Yeah. So this restore point is some sort of backup. However, it is added by me, and then I can delete that, but I cannot delete the restore points that are created by the system. However, you can name them somehow. The other thing that is also important is creating a snapshot of the whole database. So just think of that clone database, clone table, where you can only work on a single table. But the warehouse snapshot is going to take a snapshot from your warehouse as a whole, and it is going to add a SQL endpoint API on top of that, and then you can just query it, right? I would say, DP-700, my warehouse snapshot 1. You can specify which, what date and time, and it is going to be a current one or in the past. For example, I want to only say I want it from actually up to yesterday, right? And I want to just check if my data looks like the values that I'm seeing here, or it is the current one, or it is looking actually like the previous values. And we can just check, since yesterday I've added this clone table. I added actually I modified the data in my dimension product, and then we can just check once it is created, the snapshot and how it does look like. However, it is created now, then you can just manage them. From, let me just go back in the management, you can add a new one or manage your warehouse snapshots, where you can just capture a new state that is going to, you can just say now or a specific date and time, then the status of it, or even from here, you can just, it is going to be linked there. And if you want to see that in your warehouse, in your workspace view, you can see it underneath of the parent and the original warehouse that you've got there. So this is going to be a warehouse snapshot. So meaning that if you delete the parent one, it is the snapshots are also going to be deleted. It is a dependency on that. But one of the benefits of the snapshots could be just having a reliable version of your warehouse. Anyway, we can just go there and see how our data look like. So as you can see, yesterday I didn't have the clone table, right? But the schema is going to be shown up, right? But the data looks like the time that I specified for my snapshot. So yeah, it is very clear, and how we can do that. For sure, in the snapshot database, you cannot modify your data. It is only a read-only one for doing the analytical purposes. Let's back to the warehouse again. The items that we've got here, you can just load it like this, from a data flow gen tool, or using a pipeline by a copy activity, or even executing a start procedure in your warehouse. And you can create the SQL queries, visual queries, and also a SQL query in Notebook. So it is not a surprise one in the Notebook, but let's see how it does look like quickly. You're gonna have your it is going to be an interactive one, right? Which is also a good option, that you can keep your results there. For example, I want to, thing is that the drag and drop doesn't work. However, we can select the data from here, and a session is going to be started. The session is basically a T-School session. In here, you can see in the notebook, you don't see anything about Spark or something like that, the version of it, and it is all the connection to your warehouse basically. And here is the tables that you've got, and that's it. And let's just quickly rename it to something. My data warehouse notebook 1, and yeah, we can do it. We can also schedule it if you have anything to be added here. For example, I want to just add my calculation. Let me, for this one, for example, I'm gonna just add it here, and I'm gonna just multiply it one more time by 10 to see how it does look like. I want to can I duplicate it? So there should be a, so our execution is done, and now I'm going to just see the result. And now you can see the previous result was 109. Now the result is 1099 whatever. And the thing is that it is basically auto saved, and if I close it, stop and close, the current session is going to be closed, and I can see that notebook in my workspace. Let's have a look at it and see how the data has been used. Where is it? The notebook, my data warehouse notebook 1, this one. And as you can see, when we open it, the results that were executed are still there. It is one of the nice things about your about the notebooks. One of the benefits of that is going to be maybe saving the resources, saving time, for example, for an execution of something that you need the data to be shared with others, or just having a look at that. You don't have to just re-execute it 100 times. So it's going to be executed here, and the result is going to be also saved. And for sure, you can schedule it or execute it in a pipeline. If I'm not mistaken, we can add it to our pipeline. So let me now divide it by 10 to not having big numbers. And let's go back to our pipeline, and in the pipeline, let me check if that's let me deactivate it and deactivate it. I'm not sure what they are doing. I don't want to create a new pipeline for that, and it is going to be only a notebook. And let's see if our data warehouse notebook is going to be shown here. That's fine. And then we can just run it, save and run. Let me just save it firstly to just make sure it is passing the validation step. And then we can run it. So in the running, let's wait for it, and we can check the values afterward. Cool. What else on the warehouse? While we are waiting for this guy to be executed, and as you can see, three items in my pipeline. Two of them I marked them as inactive, so they are inactive, and the other one is in progress. But for that notebook. So let's. Now it is completed. Now we can just check the values in our stuff. So it was 100 actually 1099. Now it is divided by 10, 109. So that notebook was executed. And if we executed one more time, so it is going to be in the normal price that we had initially. So it is, however, it is not a practical, use case that I demonstrated, but it is something that we just think how it is working. But for sure, dividing something, in a repeated process is not an ideal thing. In our data warehouse, what else? Yeah. We've gone through that, but in the home section, you can create a semantic model, as we talked about. I wanted to have my fact table here firstly, then create the semantic model, but the fact table, where's my fact table? Did we add it here? Orders. Yeah, it should be the orders. That's good. Let's have the orders in our data warehouse. So I'm going to write a quick query, create table. Let me just see if CTES, yeah. For the code completion, let me just say it like this. You're gonna just write CTAS, for example. It is, and then tap. Just hit the tap button. Then the statement is going to be generated like this. You can just give it a new name, for example, the fact orders, right? Fact orders, and you can just say star from your source table is going to be my lake house dot staging dot orders. It is the first time of execution, so there is no filtering, for example, let's say for me. But before that, I can comment it by dash and run it and see how that data looks like. And if I am not happy with the data type or the type of the data, then I can just modify it. But I'm happy with it. We have the float of the total, we have the unit price, the quantity, the product ID, and everything is ready for me. And we have these two tables and now already loaded as dimension of customer and dimension of product. So I'm happy with the data. Let's create the table of fact table and then select star from this staging table to my fact table. Seems finished. And then if we refresh the data here, refresh the tables, you can see the orders. And we are going to quickly create now let's have a look at the table data. It is what I expected. And in order to create a semantic model and making a relationship between those guys, let's create it, my orders semantic model. I'm gonna choose the tables that I need. I don't want the clone one, for example, here. And the tables available in this warehouse for sure. And here I can change the workspace that I want the fabric items to be shown as well. However, I'm in the DP-700 fabric database. It takes a bit time to choose the data. And it is going to be a direct lake semantic model that the data is not going to be loaded into our semantic models. And instead, it is going to be a direct access to the files behind the scene for my warehouse, which are sitting in the one lake. So it is called direct lake. It is very efficient for reporting and performance. So that's been created, seems. Yeah. And we can just look at that quickly again in our workspace. We can open it. Here is the semantic model that we have. We can write DAX queries, which is not the thing that we want to talk about, but in order to create the relationship between the items for reporting purposes, you can open it. You can go to the editing mode and just drag and drop the columns that are basically relevant here. For example, this the fact table is going to be set in the middle. You can just drag and drop. You can make them visible or invisible, and then customer ID to customer ID from fact orders table to dimensioned customer. So if you want to just make sense more, you're gonna you will have the customer IDs, and then it is going to identify the cardinality of that. It says that there is many to one for this customer, and the cross filtering, how it is going to be filtered only from customer or from the fact table. But here I say sometimes both is good, but you need to just apply security filter in both directions. And I'm gonna assume referential integrity that, for example, if I have a customer ID in my fact table, it must have it should have the corresponding record in the dimension table, and we can just make this relationship active. This item is going to be more make sense when you have the relationship between these two tables more than one time. Then you are going to you can create the relationships, but only one of them is going to be active. Then you can use that relationship when you are querying the DAX or something like that. Anyway, it is a very quick one. However, it won't be part of your exam. So let me just quickly add it. The same thing, many to one. One to many. I mean, from dime product to fact orders is going to be one to many, and let's just make it as both. And I don't want to be validated now. All good. One more thing, I think, in this data warehouse. So it is the relationship between these two guys, and it can be saved or creating a report on top of that, and then you can explore it. But in our warehouse, let's back the items that we've got available here. you can also make use of the SQL templates. For example, for loading your fact orders, right? That we have added here, create, in the first time it was creation of the table and then loading the data into your orders. But you may need to load the let's say the differences actually from the previous load, and then maybe you can create a start procedure. You're gonna call it load orders, load fact orders, let's say. And I don't need any parameter. However, you can add the parameters here, but let's keep it simple. And here I would say insert into my data warehouse. What is it called? DP-700. My data warehouse dot fact orders. Select from DP-700 my lakehouse dot staging dot orders, where, for example, staging. Here you can say, for example, where do we have any date on that? Yeah, staging. Let's give it an alias as dot order. Let me just check the items. Order date, where order date is greater than, for example, no, it is not really that good for the performance, but I just want to create something that makes sense for you. I want to just say the maximum of the max date value, my destination, let's say. This table is called this DBO dot okay, and let's call it D dot order date. So the maximum of the order date, so where the order date is greater than what I have, then I can just say select star from this table to that table, and a start procedure is going to be created for fact orders, right? And that start procedure is going to be shown here, and it can be executed several times. And in order to just make it more sensible, maybe we can add some records here, or deleting something from your from our fact order. For example, I want to just say delete from fact orders. Let me just dbo.fact orders, dbo.fact orders, where what does the data look like? We have the order ID and the date and time. So we can say the order date is greater than 20th of January 2024, where order date is greater than 2024 01 20th. So firstly, we can just have a look at this data and see what we are deleting, and if really it makes sense, we can just select star from this fact table, and if this actually my filter is working correctly, and then I'm going to delete these 4 records. So those 4 records have been deleted now. That's good. And then we can just again let's select from orders again, select all of them, and see if we have any data for more than 20th of January, which are deleted. Then with executing that start procedure, what was the start procedure named? It's called load fact orders. We can just execute it, and those records are going to be added from your basically your lake house. Then if we execute the fact orders, then we see all of those records have been added from here. Cool. It was just an creation of our start procedure. You can go with the functions, how to create functions, how to create views. For creating views, I think we have done it. Let me check. Have we created any view? No. If not, we can just create a view. For example, we can say from fact orders, and I want to say per customer, right? Per customer. I want to create a view like this. Let's say orders inner join to my dbo.theme customer, and on o.customer ID equals to c.customer ID. Then I would say what we have in customer. Do we have full name here? Yeah. Full name. We can say c.full name. Then sum of my o.total as total sales, or count of sales as well. You can add another column, or the average of that, or the count of sales. Here it can be star, or you can say distinct o.order ID. Total sales amount, let's say for the first one, total sales count. Then it is going to be a query like this, but yeah, I forgot about the grouping. Group by c.full name. There is a complaint on the field name. Let me check. The field names are customer ID on C. It might be, is it case sensitive? Or let me check. Yeah, this case sensitive. About the case sensitivity, I will just show you something. I'm not sure if we covered it. Oh, what's happening? D. Oh, we don't have any D. It is not case sensitive, so it should be C and O. C and O. Should be good. And in the next one, so here you can see the full name of those customers, the total sales amount, and the total sales count, how many times they have been part of our process. However, this script can be either saved here somewhere, or you can make it as a view. So you can say create view the dbo dot total sales per customer, for example, and then say as this view. And this view is going to be also created somewhere here for you. And then you can always refer to this view in your warehouse here. And the columns available, and it is always ready for you to utilize in your semantic models or somewhere else. Anyway, yeah, you can make use of these SQL templates for your purposes, for new schema, new table, new view, sort procedure, or a new function. For those guys who are more interested in working somewhere like VS Code, you can download the SQL database project, or you can even use it in your SSMS when you are where you are doing the project. So it is you can just download it. It is going to be a zipped file, and you need to just extract it. Anyway, you can always also open it in your Visual Studio Code, that project I'm in, and open it. So let me just try to open it in my Visual Studio Code. There will be a server name for you to connect, and the database name. So let me check my Visual Studio Code. So it is in my other screen. So let me see if I can add it here. Yeah, cool. So it is going to just give me a prompt. This extension, do you want it to be opened? Yes, let's open it. There will be some the connection details. I would say I want to just browse Fabric for my credential. I have done it before. It is not a big thing. And here the available workspaces are going to be shown here. I want to actually connect to my warehouse in the DP-700 Fabric data days, but why my item is not available here? The Lakehouse, it is only showing the SQL analytic endpoints. It is not showable here. Let me check. Only the lake houses. So, I think it could be because of not sending them to my Git. Let me check it quickly. Let me see. No, it shouldn't be the problem, but let's push whatever that we have from our source control to Git and commit them. It was a long time that I haven't committed my changes. So committing takes a bit of time. The other way could be, you can just download your SQL project. I think I've downloaded that, but you can open it. It's going to be a SQL project file that I can just open it here as well. Let me go to my Visual Studio Code and is it still getting that? So I can maybe create a new folder or open or open it from the outside. So I can just maybe call it DP-700, and in that I can just put the stuffs in here. So let me just copy the file that I have downloaded, and in that specific folder okay. So I just copied the items that I have downloaded in my DP-700 folder. Then I can see the DBO schema that I've got, and the tables that are there, and the view that I have just created. So I can add more items here, add more files, which are going to be basically the creation of those items, or modify them, then just push them to my GitHub, and then from that site I can just take them to my Fabric workspace. So yeah, just you need to know how these SQL projects are working, and how to open them in your Visual Studio Code or in SSMS. And what else? The options for API for GraphQL is also available here up on top of your data. How this Graph API is going to work. Let me just say my DP-700 warehouse, the GraphQL. For the GraphQL, basically you need to just choose your data firstly, then you can just start exploring your data using the GraphQL API. So I'm gonna just choose my fact table, the dimension, and whatever that I need here. It is the clone one that I don't need. So yeah, it is good just to make yourself familiar with what you've got in the GraphQL. I think we're good with the data warehouse. So let's have a quick look at what we have in GraphQL, how it does look like. So for those guys who are familiar with GraphQL, you can just start using the this item. There's the syntax of that, and there's first of that. You can then just query the data. The result will be in JSON. The order ID, the items that you need from there. You can add some variables there, and yeah, that's it. And then you can just copy the endpoint that is basically returning this result for you, right? And it can be accessed outside of Fabric. or generating the code, in what language you're gonna need that, and how it is going to be used, for example. Cool. So let's back to our slide. Why my slide is like this? Start from the current, from the beginning. So let's go. Do I have the right one here? Oh, sorry, it's the wrong one. Let me just close this guy. That is why. Yeah. So for querying the data, yeah, I think we covered almost all of them, except for the visual query editor. That let's quickly look at it and just see how it does look like, that we are not missing anything. So in your warehouse, you can just create a new visual query by drag and drop. And for example, you want to just have your fact orders here. The result is going to be shown here. You can do the transformation of your data and adding the steps. You can merge the values. You can save that as a table or a view, the result of it. It is not really a big thing, but it is a no-code experience for you. And you can download it, save as a table, or visualize your results. Save it as a view and those kind of stuffs. What else? Yeah, that's good. I think we're good. So yeah, we talked about the aggregation of the measures. For example, we have created that view with aggregated values per customer for our orders. We did join the items, but however, for this one is a snowflake schema. When you need to denormalize your data, basically, it is partially normalized dimensions, like products and categories, where it is in this snowflake schema. So you can just make the joins and create your create your denormalized dimension and scripts. So in SQL you can make use of the ranking functions, like the row number, which is just generating the row numbers one to above. It can be partitioned for the row numbers, partitioned by a customer ID, or by the year of the your date. And it can we can use rank also in a partition way as well, and it can be also ordered, right? You can order it by something for the row number. Anyway, it is going to otherwise it is going to utilize the order by in the whole script. Yeah. About the SQL editor, we talked about that. You can download the Excel the data as Excel file. We covered the SQL editor query. You can connect to your database from the client systems, like this SSMS one, where in your basically in your warehouse, when you click on it, it is going to give you a server name and a database name. And but you need to connect to that with multi-factor authenticator, MFA1, with your user that is connected to that that has access to your basically your data warehouse. But you need to keep in mind there is no SQL authentication. It is going to be always the MFA for now. Work with a SQL database in Fabric. As you know, Fabric is providing you with the SQL database as well for your transactional workloads. It is not really a big one. Let me check. I've already have a SQL database. Let me see where and what. There is a limitation for the SQL databases that you can create in your Fabric trial capacity. I think it is 3, if I'm not mistaken, but it is going to be something like this. I have it in different workspaces, but it will be, a normal SQL like, what you have in Azure SQL. However, the SQL analytics, actually SQL analytics endpoint is also going to be available for you for querying it. Anyway, you have all the items plus the external tables. Where you can just create your external table or having your tables here, any views, start procedures, and functions that you have created, the scaled one or the table value functions. Also, the same story for creating, the items. You can open it either in your SSMS or in the Visual Studio Code. You can, go for, the replication, and if it is going to be available here. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and for the security of your database, for sure, you can just go with the SQL security by defining the roles on your system, and then specifying the users that are going to be actually applicable for those roles. You can add the people groups in those roles. There are some predefined roles: DB owner, data reader, data writer, and DDL admin. However, you can just add your role and give them the schema level, the schema level permissions by inserting, selecting, updating, deleting, based on what is required. For also it is just giving you the opportunity for managing the SQL auditing if it is going to be required. And one more thing about the warehouse, we should be back also here. Cool. Let's back to our PowerPoint. We need more time actually to complete it. So for the batch data ingestion tools, just as a reminder, what we have here, and we discussed that this slide several times. But we have the notebooks and Spark job definitions from Apache Spark to work with our Lakehouse, the SQL analytics endpoints, where we can create the views, start procedures, whatever that is needed. It is going to be a read-only one for Lakehouse, but for Warehouse we can make use of the SQL editor. For we can bring the data using the data flow gen 2 pipelines, and using the shortcuts. It is not a new thing for you. There's just some guidance in Microsoft Learn documentation, and there are some high level guidance and where and how you can utilize for the ingestion, go for the ingestion method that you are going to use. For example, for in depending on the skill sets, depending on the that you want to write code or not, depending on the connector that you're using, you're gonna choose between a copy activity from pipeline or a copy job. Even the copy job is missed here. There's also one type of to having to benefiting from actually CDC for just identifying automatically about the data that was added in your source system. And yeah, that's it. About the data loading in Fabric, we talked about that for the full load and incremental load in what use cases they are going to be used. We have one more data loading in Fabric, which is the real-time load. That is basically can be implemented either in real-time intelligence or even in Spark. So for that one, we will talk about afterward. It's just an overview of what kind of data loading we've got in Fabric. So how to implement them? Just an overview of the guidance. For the full load, we can have the copy data, we can have the copy job, data flow gen 2, and notebooks. For the incremental load, the same thing, plus the mirroring and Azure SQL endpoint. For the real-time data, as I mentioned, we can have the event stream in real-time intelligence, event hubs, and notebooks for structured streaming for basically Spark. Yeah, seems we are moving to real-time intelligence in Fabric. Let me check that if we are not missing anything in data warehouse. So, and what time is it? How long have we been live? For 2 hours. Okay, there's some comments here. Let's read some comments before we jump into the real-time intelligence. Ashkan, my exam started with 4 long case study questions. I was thinking case study questions are at the end. Yeah, actually for DP-600 is at the beginning of that. Yeah, but however, you can review your answers, and but yeah, it is sometimes it's going to be a bit tricky to manage your time, but yeah, that's good. I really like that the case study is in the beginning. At once you can just give it away and just focusing on the other things. Yeah, not sure. The PL300, it was this. So had this as well, between which type of activity or data tool to use for a specific case. Yeah, thank you, Isak, for sharing your experience. It's important where you're gonna use your items. Some more things that let me check if I already have it here. I need to check my notes. Not here. So Before we jump into the real-time intelligence, let me open my whiteboard and just talking about some security stuffs, right, in warehouse. So in the warehouse in Fabric, in order to secure your data, there are some different stuffs, right? In Fabric itself, in the workspace level, or item level, you have the opportunities of role-based, access. It's going to be admin, contributor, member, admin, member, contributor, and the viewer, right? Admin, contributor, member, and viewer. That's fine. With this one, we can just specify who can access the item, and automatically when you have the viewer basically permission in the workspace, you can access the data warehouse as well, right, as a viewer. But in the warehouse itself, we can have some sort of permissions, like the row level, permissions and the security. You can have on the object level security that only, for example, you're gonna give access to a view for a user. Or we also have the column level security that you can just grant or deny access for a user or a group of users to a column. And always it is good to work with the groups for the users when you are thinking about the giving them access or not in your warehouse. And the thing is that when a semantic model is going to be created from your warehouse, or when your warehouse is going to be referenced somewhere, all of these securities are going to be considered, and they're going to be in place for the user who is actually working with that data. So let me just find the role level security Fabric in the warehouse. Quickly look at the documentation that we've got here. For the row level security, you can I just want to show you the syntax and how it does look like. Let's say you've got a table of the data that has a sales representative, for example. The sales representative is one of these usernames. Then when you want to create a security schema, and then basically in order to do that, you need to create the function, a function that is getting the sales representative as an input. Then just checking if that username, that salesperson basically equals to the username or equals to this one. It is going to just return one, that this function is basically checking for a user that has access to this the table. And what else? And then we will use that function to create our a security policy. The security policy is then just will be used at the end of the day on that table, the table of the sales order that we have created above. It is going to be our table. We have a sales representative here. And then these 3 items are going to be required if we want to have a successful row level security. However, for those guys who are actually worked with the semantic model, then there you can just create their roles and having some conditions index and just creating your basically rules for those roles to can access the data or not. However, this one is going to be also available, and yeah, that's it. And one more thing, when it is using that function, the function is basically sending the sales representative. Sales rep is coming from the order, so only that basically username in this one can access it, or the manager, for example. You can create a rule that just can access the data. What else? That's it. I think we're good for this one. And the column level security, that you can just grant or deny some in the and restrict actually access to certain columns to serve for certain users. Let's say you have a table of customers that have some confidential data in it, like a credit card, right? That must not be basically shown for an unauthorized person, right? Here we are going to just granting select on customers only on specific columns and not all the columns. So it is the way of how to grant access to that specific user, right? And if within that condition, if they select star from customers, that basically that credit card is part of that, it is going to just deny, raise an error that the select permission was denied for that credit card in that column. However, there is a technique, if we don't want to go with the granting on the column level, you can also go with the data masking, dynamic data masking, that instead of showing the whole value of that column, basically it is going to just show it with XXX. And there are different types of the data masking. That's what basically functions are available. The default of that is going to be for characters of XXX, and how to do it. You can just alter the column gender, for example, add mask with function equals to default. So the function is our keyword here, and the type of that function that is going to be applied when you are masking a column in your table. Even when you are creating your table, you can add it in front, right? We can just say mask with this function. There is a a very common one, that the email address should not be shown for unauthorized people. Then the email is also type of the function that you can use for this mask one, and only the one letter of that is going to be shown there with the extension of that suffix. For the the random is going to just make a random value in that. For example, it is useful for a salary. Let's say the salary is going to be a between a range. For example, if you don't want to reveal the actual salary, you can just say between 1 and 10. It is not really important. That maybe means something for you as the data owner. We also have the custom strings that you can basically use the partial. The keyword, the function name is basically partial, and you can have a prefix, padding, and suffix if you want to show it in a different ways. For example, for a phone number or IP address, it is going to be a good examples for this one. For example, for this one, it says the prefix one, the actual data, then add this number of X, then with the this the end suffix is going to be 0, which is not going to show anything afterward. But if we add, for example, 1, it is going to show this 4 as well. Yeah, it is one of the items. What is we also have the object level. The object level security. Let me check the object level. Yeah. If it opens here. Yeah, just learn about this kind of sys views. Sorry, this one is a function that you can find your permissions. But I was looking for that one. I cannot find it now. That's fine. But yeah, we covered the row level, the column level, data masking as well, to just make sure we are not missing them. Awesome. Let's back to our slides. Cool. But before that, let me just have a look at our items here, that what we have covered for today. For the file and folder access control, I think we have discussed this, but just in case if we haven't, it goes back to our basically lake house, right? In the lake house, we have the folders, files, and also the tables. There we can have manage one lake security, that basically your lake house is going to be secured, and you can create the roles, and in each of these roles you can just edit the permission, that if it has access to which folders or files or in what tables. So here you can just specify the available data in that role and what members are going to be part of that role. So yeah, I think we have discussed it before. And for the data masking also, we talked about that. So let's quickly mark them, and we have talked about the database projects for the incremental load and full load. We talked about them. For the shortcuts, I think we have talked about that, but if we haven't, in a lake house, we can always, create the shortcut. The shortcut can be a table, for example, here. For those managed shortcuts, we can basically bring them here, for the managed shortcuts as a table, for example. I can, access the OneLake resources or the external resources that we've got. Some of them are in preview, but maybe very common one will be, data lake storage too. For the managed one, of course, it has to be a Delta Lake table. If not, it is going to be pushed into your unmanaged, unidentified category in your table list. Anyway, I choose the OneLake, and you have access to different workspaces here. Let's only look at this the warehouse. I can then select the table that I have in my here. For example, I want to just make a shortcut to the clone dimension product that I have, and whatever changes that is going to be there, I can see them in my lake house as well. Just having a collaboration between these two. And when we create that, a small clip is going to be created here, and the data is as it shows. Actually, it is expected in your warehouse. Let's back to for the lake about the shortcuts. Implement mirroring. We need to talk about that. Denormalizing data. We have created some loading patterns for we have done it for the we have done it for our batch data, but not for the streaming data. It may be next session alongside what we have for streaming. But yeah, let's move on to our slides again. To the real-time intelligence. Cool. Start from the current slide. So real-time intelligence in Fabric. And Fabric actually is providing us with a set of components that are related to a real-time, analytics of our data that are streaming basically, and we don't want to wait for the long process of the batch processing to gather the data from different places, and having the scheduled jobs, refreshing your data, refreshing your data flow gen 2 and whatever. But on the other side, we need something to just have the real-time data, having the real-time values, then make a decision on that specific one. There are lots of use cases that the real-time analytic is it is applicable, like in the healthcare or in the manufacturer. A machine is working somewhere, then the temperature goes high, and someone needs to be identified, or we can just find a pattern of the data during the time for that actually that when this temperature goes high, or how we can prevent it. So it is very important to know how we are going to manage these kind of scenarios. So in the real-time intelligence or real-time hub, we basically have like other like other analytical solutions. We have a source, transformation, storage, and then visualization, right? And doing something afterward. The ingestion and processing, actually ingestion and that transformation is happening in our event house, where the data is streaming. We have some number of sources that we can expect the data from. That data is going to be analyzed there. It can be directly used in just having some action on top of that in some cases, or it can be transferred to another streaming process, another event stream, or going to a destination, and or even it can be stored in a database called event house or KQL databases. So event house is a container of the KQL databases in Fabric. Alongside that, we have the KQL query sets, where we can basically write our KQL queries and creating the real-time dashboard on top of those KQL queries that we have created. And the data is sitting in one lake for an event house. However, in the event stream, the destination can be also a lake house. So we will have a look at that one as well. And one of the items that I mentioned about the activator, and the data also can be shown in the Power BI. Just one thing, the event stream can basically being accessed using the endpoints as well. In order to ingest and transform real-time data in event stream, as I mentioned, we have the data sources. It can be external services, it can be Fabric events, or we can just load some sample data. If we don't have anything to work with, we don't have any IoT hub or event hubs, then we can use a sample data, which is pushing the data into our event stream. The data transformation, there are some normal things for filtering and managing your fields, adding the fields, or whatever, filtering them, aggregating and grouping, union and joining them. And for the data destination, we can push it to an event house, lake house. It is going to be another stream, a derived stream from here, an activator in Fabric, and a custom endpoint if we want to push our data somewhere else. However, in each section, we can make it actually active or inactive. The data, as I mentioned, is going to be stored in actually event house, a KQL database, which are scalable storage and querying for real-time data. It is very fast for the huge data using the KQL for analyzing that. The KQL is going to be part of the DP-700 exam. You need to know how to write the KQL. However, you can write SQL and then convert it just to a KQL one. So in the event house, as I mentioned, it is a container of KQL databases. So you can create the KQL databases and KQL query sets. However, the query set itself can be created separately and not only in our event house. And in order to visualize real-time data, as I mentioned, you can use the real-time dashboards, and also that are the tiles based on the KQL queries. They're interactive, and also the Power BI. You can create your reports from the KQL database. If I'm not mistaken, we can create the shortcut. We can create the shortcut in the lake house to the tables in a event house. Let me just check it quickly. Let's filter it if we have KQL database. So in my, it is in DP-600. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, the table can be accessed from here. Oh, there is no table. I have a monitoring one. So for this one, I need to check. Doesn't like it. However, for the shortcut, I'm not sure if that is working. So it is something that we need to check. So there's a question here from Isaac for the streams. What can be the flow of transformations applied to the data? I realize that some transformations cannot follow another one. We will check it. And also I don't know for now if there is any order for them. It doesn't make sense to have order for the transformations, but we can check it together to see how it does look like. So let's back to our slides. So and the activator. So the data is in our event house. We transform that. We make the decision to act something on top of it, right? So here we can just check the records that are coming in, and based on the rules, based on the behavior of the data, we can just push it to an activator, and it's going to execute a. It can just notify in Teams or Outlook, or even executing a Power Automate, if I'm not mistaken, again on this one. But yeah, that's it. You can have access to your real-time hub, and just finding the data sources, where they are coming from, if they are active or not, and just having a look at them, and there you can just create your dashboards there as well. So yeah, let's jump into the fabric, and let's start with the real-time intelligence. So here I'm going to just go with the event stream. For getting the data, it is event stream, and where is it? Yeah, let's call it DP-700 my event stream. So in order to create that, you need to add a source if you've got any. For example, you can just connect the data sources. Let's see what are the sources available here. Here you have 3 options. For example, is going to be the events from your OneLake, a creation or deletion, of the items that are going to be subscribed here, the Azure IT Hub or Azure Event Hubs, for example. But you can see just all of the sources that you can have for your for your basically the data source, as a data source for your event stream. So these are the recommended stuffs, but however, we can have Microsoft sources, the Azure SQL DB, and in each of these guys you can just see how it is working. We capture real-time data changes from your Azure SQL database and stream it into Fabric, or Azure Service Bus, pull data from your Azure IT Hub, or managed instance databases in Azure SQL, Postgre. These are all Microsoft sources. Database CDC, if something has changed in your database again, for the databases. Let me just only highlight those guys that are applicable here. Azure Events for the Azure Blob Storage. Just whatever that is happening, the events that are happening in your blob storage by adding a file, deleting a file, and so on and so forth. And for the Fabric events, in capacity overview events, Fabric workspace item events, when a new item is added, or it is very useful for the admins. However, there are some monitoring and actually log analytics that we have activated initially in our workspace, but it is something that you can also add. And the job events also, as well as the OneLake events. And there are some public feeds, the HTTP that you can just basically provide the event stream endpoint to your publish, basically the real-time producer, and it can be also the real-time weather, the public feeds that are available here. Anyway, I'm going to start with a sample data, or you can using a custom endpoint. But in order to have something to talk about, we can start with a sample data. It can be the bicycle. There are some samples here: S&P 500 company stocks, bosses, yellow taxi, stock market again, high data rate, and semantic model logs. So let's go with the bicycle that it has. It is basically a data set of the bicycles that are in the different places in the city, and it is going to be a real-time analytics of how the data is actually that the bicycles are going to be made available, or something like that. Anyway, when you open the event stream, you have this one, and it has very simple menu, simple ribbon, adding a source. You can just like what we discovered, you can transform your data, and then adding your destination. So for the transforming of your events, you can just filter them, managing the fields, aggregate it, join it with something else. Maybe let's say you have streaming from 2 different sources, then you're gonna join it, or something like that. Or grouping by, union them, and expand them if you're getting a let's say JSON value, for example. or some more records per your record that you have. And the data that is going to be look like this for the bicycles, the bike point ID, street, neighborhood, latitude, longitude. There's number of the bikes and number of empty docks. What I'm going to, for example, do, I can add the transformation here. For example, I'm gonna add a filtering. I need to just, for example, say the neighborhood equals to, what was my, for example, for this one, Fitzrovia. And in this one, I'm gonna add my neighborhood equals to this value. I'm only interested in this. So it is always important that you're gonna have a, basically you're gonna have a filtering up front, right? When you're working with that. We will talk about the optimization and best practices in the last section of this course, but it is good to know about it. And then we can also, let's see what kind of data we have here. We have filter on this, the number of the bikes, what we can do. The number of the bikes, number of empty docks. Maybe a concatenation of these two. Let me see. Or, we can manage the fields. For example, we can add a field. Let's the fields that I'm going to for example, the number of the bikes and this added. Let me just check. Only those fields are going to be available here. The data is not previewed because there is no destination, right? It is not an error, and it is not an actual error. But if we have a destination, for example, the destination that we will have is going to be, as I mentioned, it can be an activator, it can be a event house or a lake house or even stream. So if you want your data in the lake house, you can just add it here. Anyway, so yeah, when you add the destination, then something is going to be happen. Anyway, let's create an event house, DP-700, my event house. I'm not sure if I have this name, but let's create it. Sorry, it was just the destination name, but I mean the name of it. So the event house is going to be created here. And the KQL database is going to be at the same name, right? And we can create a new table. If it is an existing table, it can be added here. But let's say bikes. And the input data is JSON, is coming through. And we can just activate ingestion after adding the data source. It is going to just be moved over. I think for this manage fields, for those guys that I selected are basically going to be, they're going to be something part of that. But let's delete this step and having another one. Let's group it by what data we have here. I'm just thinking about. Let's group it by street or it can be, for example, just summarizing of my number of bikes, right? And summarizing of number of empty docks, and they are going to be an aggregation of street, let's say. I filtered that already to this neighborhood, but now I'm just checking. I'm not sure if there is any grouping on this. Anyway, the time window that we are going to aggregate that is going to be in each the time windows that we have every for example 5 seconds, and then we can just connect this group by one to my event house. Anyway, it is going to be something like this, and we can publish it. After publishing, we can see our data in the lake house, and you can see after publishing it is going to be changed to live mode, and the data is going to be streaming into our event stream, and it is the data and basically some information with that regard. And the destination is this one. In order to navigate our actually access our data, we can go to our event house. It is created here, the KQL database underneath of my event house. Let's have a look at this one together. Let's make it a bit bigger. Then so it is the database that I have, the KQL database, and the table is not created yet. It takes a bit time to get refreshed. See how we can write. So while the data is busy actually loading here, we can have a look at the environment of our event house. As I mentioned, you can create more than one KQL databases here, and it is going to be a new database or shortcut database. Even you can create the shortcut to your into your event house, so it is going to be a collection of what you have. So now you can see the table of bike is coming through, and those aggregated columns now are available here for me, and also we have a window end time and ingestion time of when it was loaded. Anyway, this data is coming through, and when we have more data, we can just analyze it, right? And start. Let me see. Yeah, you can see the ingestion time of this one. Every 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds, the window that we have actually is every 5 seconds that we basically aggregated our data for, and that is why we have more than one per street. So that's good thing to practice on that. However, it really doesn't make sense, to have this number like this. Maybe we can ignore that, calculation in our, event house, and have a better, example here. Anyway, you can see your tables. You can create the shortcut. This shortcut now comes into the, for example, the whatever that you have in your one lake, exactly like what you had as a shortcut in your lake house. You can just connect it to the one lake or any external items outside of Fabric. So here I'm just going to connect to my warehouse and only, as an example, bring something here, the fact orders. Let's imagine there are some, relationship between these two tables, but just to see how it does look like and how we can create the shortcuts in a event house in KQL database. So it is created now. We can just look at it here, and the data is going to be also available, right? It is the data that we had there. So anyway, we can start writing the query by writing our query in KQL. So how the KQL look like is something like this, external table as fact orders, or if we have the table inside our KQL database, and if we go with, say, just select anything in the table, take top 100 basically, and it's going to be only the table name, but for the shortcuts it is going to be external table. So it is good to know how you can work with your external tables. Anyway, if how the KQL is working, if you only have your table name, here, for the bikes, I think we have lots of records. Let's see. If you only execute the table name, it brings everything up for you. You can, like what you have in SQL, like top 100. Here you've got the take 100, and the syntax for KQL is basically starting with a pipeline, and it is going to give you an intelligence, right? And how you're gonna join it. For example, you want to say where, let's say, some number of bikes or more than 10, for example, and then just it is showing us this one. Or we can just say, for example, project is selecting the fields, right? Which fields you're gonna need. And here I would say I'm not interested, for example, in the number of empty docks or something like that, and I will go with some number of bikes. That's it, and I only need these guys. So that's it, to just project it. Or you can show it as a pie chart, like and just visualize it, right? However, you can see, adding a visual here on top of that, but you can just edit the visual. For the visual, if I'm not mistaken, is a table stats. Let's go for the table for now, and let's see how this rendering as pie chart is going to look like. It's going to be something like this. And even you can just aggregate it. For aggregation, you can just use something like summarize. For summarize, you can go with the street by, oh, let me just check the KQL summarize by count. You can just look at the some example here. So it is going to be by something, then yeah, that's it. Very simple. So here we can just say by street, and let's see how it does look like. Do we have enough? Let's not render it. Let's check. So the next one, the number of bikes. Let me check if it was to work. Yeah, by the street. Then we can render it now to have a more nice, as a pie chart, for example, nice visualization. Yeah, now it looks better a bit. So yeah, it is how to create write your KQL and there are some options here. You can just save it to a dashboard. For example, for this one, I want to just save it to a dashboard into an existing one or a new one. I don't have any, so let's create it. Let's call it DP-700. My RTI, let's say real-time intelligence, RTD, let's say RTD, real-time dashboard, and this one, and then we can create our tile here. It's going to be quickly created, and for sure it is going to be something changed during the time where our data is going to be changed, right? So we can just name it something by editing the new tile. Let's say number of bikes, and what is it? Number of the bikes per street. You can then apply changes. Is the title of that, and of course you can change your it is just taking top 100. I don't want to take top 100. Let's have everything, and yeah, now it looks more of this. However, you can always check what other visuals are going to meet your needs. You can create the pages, something, it is very normal for reporting. What else we can have here? In the next session, we will dive deeper in the real time and what we have discussed. It was just maybe an overview of an introduction of what we have and what we can quickly do in our real-time intelligence. So that's good, I think, for today. It's been almost 3 hours that we have discussed things. Then back to the items that we are covering. Choose an appropriate streaming gene. Choose between native storage, mirrored stage, or shortcuts in real time. So these are more detailed things that tomorrow we will cover and just finish this chapter as well. Yeah, that's it, guys. Tomorrow at the same time, 6 p.m. Pacific time, we will have our fourth and last session. If you missed this, the session in the beginning, you can just follow us on YouTube channel. Just watch them on demand or share with your network. Yeah, follow us on LinkedIn, and just don't forget to rate today's session in the meetup group. So tomorrow, the fourth session, we will talk about the real-time intelligence. We will talk about the optimization, monitoring, and what else? What was that? That was something like this. Optimization, yeah, identify and resolve errors, which is also important. So, guys, back to the question that Isak had. I didn't see anything like that, for the transformation. It can be, actually continued with another one, as we have done some like filtering and then some sort of aggregation. Yeah, and no problem, Ashkan. Thank you. And guys, if you're on the call and you still need an actually exam voucher of 50%, please reach me out until actually within the next hour. On meetup group, on the meetup, just find my organizer name, and you can just send a message to me. So yeah, if you need that, it has to be taken by end of December. So there's a 50% voucher if you want to take any exam. It doesn't matter for Fabric or whatever. Any exam in Microsoft, from fundamental and associate ones, that 50% voucher can work for them. So it is a special gift for our community members. Yeah, if there is anything to add, please guys add in the chat. If not, we can route the session and see you tomorrow again for our last session for DP-700. Cool. Yeah, until tomorrow, have a good one. Cheers. Bye.